Finding balance in college has been the hardest thing that I've ever had to do. Finding balance in college is objectively different than finding balance in high school, finding balance post-grad, because finding balance in college is all about rhythms, cycles, and it's not about a consistent, stable routine. At least in my experience as a sophomore at USC, which is very much of a work hard, play hard culture, I would say that we do party a lot at school compared to some other schools that I applied to. And starting college was a really tough transition for me when it comes to time management, because in high school I was very regimented. I knew what I was doing every day. You have a set class schedule, and I always had a set time that I was waking up because my earliest class was at like 8:30 a.m. and then schoolwork was typically due the next day after. And I think that I function best on routine. I'm more productive when I wake up earlier, but in college I've really learned to define success more holistically. I want to have a very fruitful social life here, and sometimes that means making some sacrifices on productivity, but then other days needing to really focus on my work. So if you are looking to have a great balance of social life, also doing fulfilling work, learning amazing things, then this video is for you. My first tip is to not set unrealistic expectations when it comes to how much you need to be studying. I feel like it's very romanticized on social media to study for 6 hours on end, or even more than that, or study until your candle is fully burned through. But I truly think if you are doing highly effective studying and studying like an athlete would, you would not be studying 6 hours every day. Because think about it, a marathon trainer does not run 10 miles or even 15 miles every day. There's some days where it's an easier run, it's shorter, there are recovery days, so studying is not going to look the same every day. And is it really possible to study at your full capacity for 10 hours? I don't really think so. Making sure that when you are studying, you are locked in, but don't overdo it. If you feel your brain getting tired, just take a little bit of a pause. Because I found that fatigue is different than distraction. Because you can be distracted by something and not want to study anymore, but it's different than actually feeling that like mental fatigue. Because I have definitely gotten to that point. It's also very important when seeking balance in college to know that it's going to look different based on your major and also what career path that you want to pursue. For me as a business major, it is important to get good grades, but I'm not really going to be applying to grad school right away. I don't have the same lifestyle as a pre-med student. So if you're a pre-med student, this video is probably not going to be the most applicable to you. I find that my closest friends are not pre-med students, mainly because we just live a more similar lifestyle, have like similar values. Not saying that I don't have similar values to people who are doing pre-med, but obviously lifestyles a little bit more different. I think as a business student, you do a lot of networking and pre-professional things, which is very busy, but in a different way. I recommend strategically using that time where you have like brain fog and you don't want to study anymore to engage in other aspects of your life that don't require you to use your brain to the same extent. Whether that is spending social time with people. I'm a big extrovert, so honestly seeing my friends gives me more energy to then go get back at studying. But also recently, I will give you guys kind of an example. I had a finance exam for my advanced finance class. This has definitely been my hardest class I've taken at USC. And on the first exam, let's say I just did not do very well. So on our most recent midterm, I was like, I genuinely have to lock in for this one. I have to have an academic comeback. So I swear I made studying for this exam my one life mission. I was pretty locked in every day. Was I studying for 6 hours? No, I was making sure to keep things at max capacity, take breaks when I need to, make sure I'm also reflecting on a meta level. Is my studying efficient? Make sure to reflect on that quite often and be willing to change up your study strategies, because there truly always is a better way to do something. But after this exam, I kind of already knew in the back of my mind, I need some rest, right? It's like after you run a marathon, if you want to continue running and keeping that as a routine, probably shouldn't run the day right after your marathon. Or if you're gonna run, go on an easy run. Don't try to run 26 miles again. So here is what I did to unwind and to just revive myself after that midterm. I hung out with friends, and also I spam filmed so many videos, did a lot of content work because I was taking a break from my work while studying for my exam. I work part-time at a startup, and I was telling my boss I really just need to dedicate the first half of this week to my exam, and then I'll get to working after, because I find that creating content engages a whole different side of my brain than studying for my finance exam does. If I need a break from studying, I'll go do some work, get some money, be productive. So it's very important to have like different aspects of your life that you can can be productive in. You can like shift between one or the other. Because sometimes I know that forcing myself to study will just make my studying inefficient, or that I'll just hate studying, because honestly I love doing things where I love the process of it. Then I'll go film a lot of TikToks. Just ask yourself, in my current state right now, what activity am I the most optimized to engage with? So sometimes if you feel really mentally tired, do physically productive things that don't require much mental energy. For instance, doing the dishes, doing your laundry, because there's a difference between being physically tired and mentally tired. So sometimes if I know that I'm in a very peak productive mental state, I actually won't clean my room. I'll wait until I truly need a mental break to go clean it. My next piece of advice might be a little bit controversial, but I do not think that you should study with friends. If you actually want to get a good result on the exam, if you actually want to make progress. The reason why I say this is I don't think in any study that I've really learned about studying, that studying with friends like gets better results. I mean, unless you're actually studying with people or studying the same topic, you're discussing it, maybe you have to teach it back to people. Like if you're teaching the topic to your friend, I'm sure that's really gonna help you study. I mean, if studying with friends makes you enjoy the process more, like if studying alone means that you don't study, then yeah, great, go study with friends. But I don't actually think that makes you like better at studying. So if my friends ever ask like study together, I know it's just not gonna be super productive. I am willing to study with them, but maybe I'll just do some lighter work that doesn't require my full attention. So just be very honest about yourself. What is the best studying environment for you? For me, it's honestly studying in silence. If I am really feeling unmotivated though, and I want to make the studying process more fun, I'll start playing music. Let's talk about how to spend your alone time in a way that rejuvenates you, and then just also builds your character and your personality in college. I've honestly been struggling with alone time a lot because sometimes it feels like a waste of time. It's like I go to such a social school, I have so many friends here, why would I spend a night alone? But honestly, some of the most important growth that can happen during college is in those times where you're alone and it's quiet, which just seems really, I guess not something that I expected personally going into college, but some of the habits that really rejuvenate me that's made such a big difference with my mental health, self-exploration has been literally learning TikTok dances when I'm alone, watching films. I feel like there's so many classic movies that I haven't watched. Like last night when I was alone, I watched The Incredibles, and that was truly just a really fun experience. So I highly recommend discovering some hobbies that you genuinely enjoy doing alone. That's also gonna be super helpful for post-grad life, because you know, you don't know exactly what that's gonna look like. Maybe your friends have such different work schedules than you, maybe you are going to spend a lot of alone time. So make sure that you're also prioritizing building up habits or hobbies that you like to do when you're alone. It's also totally okay to just struggle with boredom. I think that we all need a little bit more of boredom in our lives. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is going out and partying. I don't know if a ton of you guys like go out. I don't know exactly what like my target audience is like when it comes to this topic, but I personally think that going out is a great part of the college experience. It really teaches you so much about like how people act, how people react in situations, and it can be really fun and a way to see a lot of the people that are in your grade. Definitely going out has some diminishing returns when it comes to like happiness. Like you definitely do not need to be going out every single weekend. I personally am not one to like be a heavy drinker, or most of the time, guys, I just don't drink. That's like my personal decision. You do not have to be a sober sister, but I would just be cognizant that like it can be really beneficial to not drink so much where you're like hungover, can't be productive the next day. Also, there are times where after a night of going out, I'll go clean my room, or I'll do something productive after going out. I think what makes going out more fun if you're not like super drunk is being comfortable dancing, being able to get loose without having a substance in your body. And I honestly think that that is such a helpful skill, to truly learn how to have fun sober, because I don't feel like there's an inverse relationship between going out and productivity. I also think something with health and fitness that is really helpful is make sure to intake a lot of protein and hydration before and after going out. Also, just know yourself well, right? If being drunk triggers you to take actions that you are going to regret, like texting a ton of people or being messy, something that socially you need to clean up the next day, just be very cognizant of that, because having drama in college can really harm your mental health and thus make it hard to be productive in your life, to have fun. Just be aware, like don't create unnecessary obstacles for yourself. I think in general, everyone has a time in college where things are difficult, and even if you have a perfect college experience, post-grad life and just life in general throws us challenges. And I feel like I haven't really addressed like mental ruts and everything. I think mental health is gonna look different for each individual person, but I also try to work on a lot of emotional management. I see a therapist at least once a month, usually every other week, and I'm never in like a rush to see my therapist. I'm not like I have all these things that I need to talk about, but I think it helps to get an outside perspective to just see how your mental health is doing. I recommend using spare time, like let's say you have 10 minutes where you're walking on campus, to go call your parents to make sure that you're maintaining these relationships even in those small moments, or sending someone a voicemail like, I'm just thinking of you. It's so small ways of staying connected that it's really helpful. I also want to touch on how I manage content creation in college. I feel like I get a lot of questions about this. I've talked about it extensively on my TikTok account, but posting every day and not putting so much pressure on yourself to have a super high quality video has really helped me, because I feel like when I set my expectations too high, I then just like stop posting, and I feel like when I stop posting for a few weeks, it's so hard to get back into it. So definitely consistency over intensity, because I feel like a lot of you guys would rather just like see videos from me compared to like me being so like type A about it and worried that it's not good enough and posting like once in a blue moon. Oh, I just have a niche tip. Make sure in college you're checking your bank account often. I know sometimes it's like a little bit hard to look at it, but it's really important to stay aware and on top of that as well. And there's a lot of things that you can do to also balance out your spending and make sure that you're like thinking ahead. So when it comes to personal finances in college, I would just honestly ask yourself, is there any big purchase I need to make in the next few months? Because if you see a lot of money in your bank account right now, it might seem like, oh, you're gonna spend it all, but just ask yourself, is there a really fun trip I want to do in spring break, and how can I save towards that goal? Those are all my tips so far though. I hope you guys like this video. Short and sweet advice, but honestly stuff that I wish I knew when I was a freshman, and I'll see you guys in the next one.